Hey guys, welcome to the Chain Gang Podcast, episode 34. We are at the wild card playoffs games this week, and we have a lot of topics we want to talk about and go over. We have a new guest today, our buddy Dylan Burtonshaw taking over for Chase. Say what's up, Bert.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
Good. I'm glad we can hear him. He's good. He doesn't really know how we do the show and how we organize it, but we're going to try to help him along. The first topic we have for the day is our NFL playoff games this Saturday and Sunday, and a Monday night game for the Bucks at home. So we'll do the first game I have on the list, and it's Jags versus Chargers. A home game for the Jaguars, which is really big when you're talking about playoff games. So, how do you guys think this is going to go, and what do you guys think is going to be the most I guess you could say key elements that each team needs to have in order to win Saturday?
Go ahead, Bert. You want me to go?
Yeah, you
Uh,
you can go first.
all right, I think a few elements. So I'm gonna go ahead and I see that the Chargers are in the favorite with the Vegas odds at 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I really think I'm gonna go with the Jaguars on this game. One, they've been playing really good the last few weeks. I think Trevor Lawrence is gonna have a huge game. Secondly, we're gonna have to keep an eye on number two, Jenkins. That guy has been balling out, and when the defense has needed him, he's been playing lights out.
Is he
And right
really?
now, I think the Chargers are gonna be playing a little tight. I think they have a lot of pressure on them, especially with their head coach Brandon Staley. I mean, all year we've been hearing rumors since going on fourth down last year to get into the playoffs, going all the way into the wild card this year. I think he's been in the hot seat. I think he really needs I think that the Chargers really need a big game. I think Staley needs a big game, but I really think the Jaguars are going to take the edge on this one.
Yeah, piggybacking off what you said, like I don't I want to choose the Chargers because I like who they have. They have pretty good skill players, great skill players on defense as well. Um, but they can never really get the job done. I mean, they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it always seems like they just can't do it. And I think that boils down to who their coach is, like Brandon Staley. So I don't like this 2.5 point favorite for the Chargers. I think the Jags are going to win this one. I don't want to say it be so dramatic, but I could see the Jags kind of being how the Bengals were last year. No one really expected them to win and keep
All
going to the
right,
Super
Justin. I
Bowl.
don't know if
No, no,
that's
no, 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 no. I'm not saying going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying I think the Jags will surprise some people with
Well, this is football. All it's not basketball. You only have to win one game, and any football
right.
team can win one game, and that's
Exactly.
anything can happen. So, is there anything else you guys want to go before I go?
No,
so.
you're good.
I also have Joey Bosa's a little banged up. Another questionable call by the coach last week, starting the starters. He got Joey Bosa banged up, but he is in practice playing. But Mike Williams is out with a low
Yeah,
back
I saw
injury.
that.
So we'll definitely be
Yeah.
seeing like I would say a big problem there for the Chargers. It's going to be a lot of Keenan Allen. It's going to be a lot of Austin Eckler. I mean, I do think Justin Herbert is a top four quarterback in the league,
Right.
probably pushing to number three. I think if he has more of a confident offense, maybe a little bit better playing calling with something a little more consistent. It's just Justin Herbert's playing a lot of Superman ball, and I just
Yeah.
we really got to see, full team win on this one, but that's why I pulled in the Jags with the
Right.
upset.
All right. Well, I think we all have the same assessment on what's going to happen. I think I also know this is a big game for both teams because both quarterbacks are going to get their first playoff win in their professional career. But I think it's more so on the Jaguars, or not Jaguars, the Chargers, mainly because the Chargers, like you guys say, they always choke. They always are the laughing stock of the league as far as like a great team, a great offense, but can't go anywhere but the first round.
Right.
So when you're Herbert and you're a young star, and when you're watching ESPN and stuff, they're talking about who's the top five, and they like to throw his name in there. They like to throw his name in there, and this has to be his game to prove. So Lawrence has kind of been overshooting his projections for the team and everything. So while it is pressure on him to win, I mean, it's a big game for both quarterbacks. I think Herbert needs this more for his career than Lawrence
Right.
does at the moment. Now, if Lawrence wins, it'll be a huge game for him and just blow up the team, and that could elevate them into the offseason to get more people to come in.
Right.
So you have this just the season. I mean, you have Lawrence throwing 4,113 yards. He's ninth with 25 touchdowns, that's tied for eighth, and he has only 8 interceptions. That's 12. So that ratio is pretty good. I like those odds. But Herbert and him are very identical in those numbers. Herbert has
Yeah, they are.
600 more yards, but they've thrown the same amount of touchdowns, and Herbert's thrown 2 more picks. So you have
You also have to account for the Jags having a little bit more of a run game versus the Chargers.
correct.
I think-
Yes. Eckler plays the middle ground. He'll get you 60 yards and like 6, 7 receptions. Like he plays the middle. They don't really pound that between the in the A gap with Eckler as much as they did. He did have a big run the other week for like 90 something yards, but
Right.
that doesn't matter. That's a fluke of a thing. He does not do that regularly.
I think it really just boils down to Doug Peterson's been here before, but Brandon Staley has not. He cannot win in the playoffs. Doug
Right.
Peterson has won a Super Bowl.
right.
I
Yep.
think that's where we're all basically deciding who's going to win this game.
Yeah, this matchup here was a early season matchup with, they played and Jacksonville destroyed them. It was like
Yeah.
31-10, I remember. And
Yeah.
they threw the ball a lot because they were down. Herbert was 25 out of 45 with just hair under 300 yards. He had 1 pick and 1 touchdown, which is okay game, but not, if you look at the score, it's like, whoa, that's a lot. But if you just look at his, it's like, okay, it's a mediocre game. But Lawrence, on the other hand, he had 28 completions out of 39, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He had a flawless game. It
Right.
was a really good game for him. So that had to be when that defense was at its peak. It's early in the season. Not many injuries were happening. So when you put that into account, I think the Jags have more momentum. They have more of a dynamic offense as far as being able to run the ball, pass the ball, and they're coming in, and they have a home game. That home game means a lot.
Yeah,
So I think I also have Jacksonville winning. I didn't know we'd agree on that. I figured one of us would be picking the Chargers, but I think it's just a history of the Chargers and the upcoming of Trevor Lawrence and those Jags. So we can jump right into the Seahawks at 49ers game. Bert, you can go first if you want to.
All right, man. I'm actually really excited about this game. So one, I don't know if you guys saw, Pete Carroll came out early in the press conference talking about how good the 49ers are. I think that's shown a little gamesmanship. I think he was kind of a little bit, I don't want to say taunting, but Pete Carroll's that guy. He's always trying to get his team the edge. And I think that's kind of what he was doing there at the press conference. I believe it was Monday or Sunday. So I'm gonna take the 49ers for the win, but I'm gonna take the Seahawks to cover. And this is
Okay.
why. There's a few things cover the odds if we're talking about, a little bit of betting.
Right.
I think the Seahawks are gonna play a lot better than a lot of people expect. One, they have a better run game. That's gonna be something that they're really gonna have to be reliant on. They are, I think, 10-1. I don't know. Don't mark me on that. They're actually fairly really well when K9 is in the game getting the rock. So when Kenneth Walker has the ball in his hands, the Seahawks are a whole different team.
Right.
And when he has the ball in his hands, that means they can do a little bit more play action. Gino's a little bit more accurate with the run game. They just got a young team. They need to kind of keep it flowing, keep it on the ground. And then you also have to talk about the weather that's going to be happening in the game. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be raining. It's going to be slippery. Can Brock Purdy pull his team in for a win? Can he do enough for the team to win in these kind of rainy conditions in the wild card? Can he do it for his first playoff matchup? Couple things to kind of look at. I think the 49ers are getting on the healthier side, but Bosa's banged up. Armstead is banged up. Christian McCaffrey, Greenlaw. They do have the #1 defense, but a couple guys on the injury report. They're kind of in the maybe list. They've been kind of probably in the trainer's office pretty often this week, kind of trying to rehab. But Brock Purdy, I'm sorry. Brock Purdy's looking really good. I think he's 6-0 since he's gotten the reins since Miami, and
Yeah.
he's really been taking over. And I think Christian McCaffrey will be a big factor in this game.
I think I agree with you. In order for the Seahawks to be close in this game, they can't let the 49ers run away with it because the 49ers have a great run game as well. So Seahawks aren't very good against the run defensively. Um, so I mean, as long as Seattle can score early and make the 49ers work for it, I think that's how they have their chance to win. Put Brock Purdy to the test because that's the only way you're really going to expose the 49ers. Two great coaching staffs facing off against each other, and they have to find a way to make Brock Purdy uncomfortable. And it's going to be kind of hard with what Kyle Shanahan is going to be cooking up because he's going to try and keep Brock Purdy pressure off from manage that game, pull a Jimmy Garoppolo, and try to win the game. So,
He's a good coach.
yeah.
Yeah, I like Kyle Shanahan, and I give all the credit to the 49ers, man. They've had a hell of a season. I'm gonna seem like a hater on Brock Purdy. I don't think he's as good as he seems to be, even though they are winning. I understand wins are important, especially for a quarterback. I don't think he has the talent that he's been credited for the wins. Um, and I do think he could crumble in this game. He is, a 7th round pick, the last pick. So when you benefit from a top defense, hell of a coach, one of the best running backs in the game, one of the best tight ends in the game, one of the best receiving cores in the game, one of the best offensive lines in the game. If I already said defense, head coach, I mean, you got everything going for you. How the fuck can you not be good? That's my question. And that's why I think Jimmy Garoppolo flourished so well, because he didn't have to have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns to win a game. He just had to have 150 yards, have a good completion percentage, and just feed the ball to Debo. That's all he had to do. Get Debo the ball, he'll win the games. And that's what they did. And that's what they're doing with Brock. They know his limitations. They're not going to put him in schemes or situations where he's going to be like having to rely all purely based off his knowledge of the game.
That's
And
why the Seahawks need to get ahead. Yeah.
the Seahawks need to go all out. If they win this game, this could really set them up for every game forward. I mean, I'm not saying they would win it all, but this will give them a huge boost. This would eliminate the 2 seed. I mean, the 49ers are a 2 seed for a reason. And like Bert was saying with their injuries, the injuries could hurt them. Being very early in the year, the Seahawks aren't a team that you kind of can just like, we'll just bench them a little bit. No, you have to play them, even though we were saying they were going to be in the lottery basically for picks this year. They're winning games, even though they had a stretch of games where they've lost. And the 2 matchups that they actually played against the 49ers, they lost too. Both matchups. So I'd love to see a Geno Smith
fairly
win.
close. Those games were fairly close.
They were
I think
close.
The last meeting was a little. I think they kind of got put on at the end of the game, but they were a lot closer than the scores kind of showed.
Yeah, I got love for Geno Smith right now. With him and his performance this year, it's just incredible. But facing one of the best defenses in the league will be tough, man.
It'll be hard.
It'll definitely be hard. And the Seahawks have had a great season, but this matchup I think finally, could come to an end. So I got the 49ers winning. Even though I said what I said about Brock Purdy, he's been flawless with, as far as winning games. He doesn't really make mistakes, and that's important. That's really important. So, the coaches have done a great job with him and putting him in the best situation possible to win games. So I'm pretty sure they're going to do that again would they play Saturday? This Saturday. But like I said, man, his 7th round pick could, I guess,
draft capital.
Yeah, his draft capital could show basically.
Right.
But I think the Seahawks have, I mean, win or lose, as long as they don't
season.
TCU out there, I think they can hang their hat high. I mean, people probably thought they were going to go number 1 overall in the draft. So
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people did.
They're actually a young ball team. I mean, they drafted really well this past year, and if they keep that up, this might be a few years down the line. The Seahawks are in the bowl.
Yep.
That is true. So we're on to the next one. Dolphins at Bills. I don't think we have much to say about this game, but if you
Yeah, I don't.
guys do, go right ahead. Dylan.
All right, I'll start it off. All right, so this game is obviously not going to be as exciting. I do think the Dolphins match up really well with the Bills. I mean, they beat them once in Miami. They played really well against the Bills. I was watching that game. I really thought the Dolphins were to come out in Buffalo that week. But without Tua, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, they're not even having Teddy Bridgewater play with the
Right.
broken hand or thumb. So it's really difficult. Skylar Thompson was a good college quarterback, but he's more of a scout team kind of guy. I mean, last week we saw the offense kind of stuttered. He only threw for 104 yards.
Right.
This is a high-powered offense. You can't be throwing for 104 yards.
You got to keep
And
up.
we know Tua was in the MVP talks earlier this year.
Yeah.
I would say one thing that does kind of concern me with Buffalo, they have 19 takeaways this year. They might win this game, but are they going to win the next?
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
5 takeaways in the end zone just by Josh Allen. This is why I think Josh Allen is the third best quarterback in the league and not the second. I really think there's a big thing where he's probably looking at Patrick Mahomes. He's thinking he's that dude. He's thinking he's that dude. Does a little bit too much. I don't know if Ken Dorsey, if it's Brian Dayball leaving. I don't know what that is, but they might have this game, but I don't know if they're going to get the next.
Right. No, I
Purely
agree
based on
with
that
you.
matchup.
I agree with you that it's going to be really hard pressed for the Dolphins to make this game because I mean I know Buffalo's defense is a little beat up. I mean they have some injuries. I think Von Miller's he's out for the season. He's been out, and Trey White's been going on and off of injury. But I don't know. I mean I they could cover the spread. It's a 14-point favorite right now for Buffalo. So I could see Miami maybe sticking in if Buffalo lets off the gas pedal a little bit. But it's hard pressed to even give Miami a shot here. It's Skylar Thompson, another rookie quarterback starting for his team. This one's a little bit worse situation, but Buffalo's just too good, and I could see him losing down the road, like Bert said. But I had to take Buffalo in this one by a landslide.
Yeah, it's there's not really much for me to add. I mean, you guys basically hit on all the key points. Skylar Thompson, not that guy, and I had my doubts on the Dolphins, but the way they kind of use their players, they kind of get the most out of them, and they use Tua well. I think his limitations as far as accuracy and just being able to read a defense. They don't play to his weaknesses; they play to his strengths, and that's also just dumping it off to Tyreek Hill. So, um, like I said, if Tua was there, it might be more convincing, but I'd still bet on the Bills.
Yeah.
So
It's really a shame that Tua is out because
yeah,
it
I
would have
like
been
that.
a better
I
game.
would have liked to have seen him play, and
Yeah.
They match up so well.
yeah, it'd match up pretty good. I'd
Anytime you have a division playoff game, it's really usually a good
yeah,
game.
yeah, there's more on the line
Right.
just because of the division. But let's segue from that and let's go to the Giants and
Oh
Vikings.
man, this is the game I've been waiting for.
This is a pretty big game, I would say. This is a game that I'm definitely going to be watching.
Oh yeah.
So Justin, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, I'll start it. I know there's people. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I think the Giants are a sneaky candidate to win this, and they have a decent team. Daniel Jones has actually taken a step forward this year, not not having as many turnovers. I think he only had 7 picks this year. Saquon Barkley is returning to form a little bit, and the only thing the Giants don't have is a dynamic receiving threat, and I think that's what really will kill them in this game. Is they're not going to be able to stretch the field, and when you're playing an offense that has Adam Thielen, old Adam Thielen, I know that, but Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Madison, obviously Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, you
Got to
have to
name the
keep
man,
you.
Justin Jefferson.
Oh yeah, I already named them. I
What a
already named them.
bro. What a bro.
But yeah, you gotta keep up. So I think the Giants making an interesting game because the Vikings like to let people in the game no matter what because they like to keep it a one possession game. I think they had like 14 one possession games this year. Um, But I think at the end the Vikings cover the spread and they win the game. So
All right, Bert, what you got?
All right, man. The Vikings are up. I think it's -3 in Vegas. I think they got Giants as the dogs, but I'm gonna have to disagree with that. The Giants are playing with house money this week.
sure.
What do they have to lose? Can you
Yeah.
name a receiver on their roster? No, but you know that guy Hodges? That guy is a stud. I think the big X factor is, I mean, they got that guy on the other side, that dog, Justin Jefferson.
Mhm.
That guy's a beast. But I think the major X factor and why I think the Giants might win this game, no, put that away. I know they're going to win this game
Yeah.
because they have a better coaching staff. We can start
Yeah.
off with Brian Dayball. That's going to be coach of the year this year. We can
Yeah.
talk about their defense coordinator. That's who I think is going to be the big X factor is their defense coordinator. So one, we'll start off with Kirk Cousins. He's 500 this year in primetime games. 3 holiday games that he's had this year, he's 500. You got the Packers getting blown out. Then we're looking at the Patriots, close game. I believe they came back and won that game, so they should have lost. They have 11 comeback wins this year.
Yep.
Then you got the Eagles, blowout. That's early in the season. Another primetime game they lost. And then the Giants, they won by 3. That's early or a little bit early or later in the season as well. I think Martindale is going to throw the whole kitchen sink at him. I think he's one of the best defense coordinators right behind the 49ers, D'Amico Ryans.
Mhm.
I won't be surprised if this game gets a little bit ugly and when in doubt, give it to 26. 26 is a tough player and he'll
Yep.
definitely get the Giants to win.
Especially against a terrible Vikings run defense.
Oh my God, they're awful.
Yeah, that defense has not been the same in the last like it was the last few seasons, but I think I have the Vikings projected to win this one. I just think even though I'd love to see the Giants win because underdog and also that could set my team up for a easy dub. But it's Vikings are like hit or miss for me, man. You could have a killer fucking Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook's just running it down your throat, and Justin Jefferson just can't be guarded. Or you'll have this like weird offense where they'll score on the first drive and then they can't get past the 50-yard line. So
Right.
that's why the Giants are a sneaky win for me, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I mean, the Seahawks and them have literally been just like, what are they doing teams this year? Like,
Right.
yeah, just surprises that good surprises because it keeps it
Right.
interesting. It's not just a walk in for all the other teams. But Kirk Cousins pissed me off week 17, man. It really him and just not getting your guy the ball. Like if you don't feed Justin Jefferson the ball, especially on a championship fucking weekend for fantasy football, you ass wipes. Drafted you first round, buddy, and you got 4 points. So, or probably less than that. But that pissed me off. But I'm not upset. I'm not that upset.
Sure.
I won, so I'm not too worried about it. But it did piss me off. I had the Vikings winning this one pretty easily. If I played to the teams, on paper, the Vikings are just that fucking team this year. And that game they came back, the game that they came back on against the Colts, man, that was just that was
nuts. That was Justin Jefferson right there.
Yeah, if I'm just saying, man.
How
I mean,
many times can you guys do that in a year? I mean, they got 11 already. I can't see them
16 out of 17 games, Justin Jefferson killed it. And
when in doubt, give it to 26. That's
maybe
that's a
15 out
tough
of
football
17.
team, and they have a good identity.
To,
I think they're the 2 best young coaches in the league, first year head coaches. But I think Dayball takes it, man. I really
listen. This is my X factor here. I think it's going to be a close game. This might even end up being the best game of the weekend because of how, like you're saying, it's a new 2 first-year coaches bringing their team for a playoff run for the first time in a few years. I think the Vikings were there like 3 years ago, but the X factor in this game is going to be if Daniel Jones proves whether he's worth a contract or not. I think if he wins this game, he'll get himself some at least free agency interest, if not from the Giants, because he's proving that he can win, even if he's not doing much with what he's got.
They
I
got a
think
first round pick. They can go get Derek Carr. He's available.
that's what I'm saying. I think Daniel Jones, this is gonna be he's gonna have a prove it game. And I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. So we're gonna see if
I
he can
won't
live up to
deep
that.
dive into that too much, but I think Derek Carr is the guy you got to call.
Oh yeah, no. I mean over Daniel Jones for sure. Yeah.
I hear a lot of talk about the Giants drafting one of the 3 quarterbacks in the draft this year. So that could also be their plan too.
I don't think
I saw
any
one with that with AR-15, the Robinson.
yeah,
Um,
Richardson.
Richardson, sorry. I was thinking Robinson.
I think
Richardson.
there's no quarterback I think that can really succeed very well in the Giants scheme
I
because of
think
how bad their receivers are.
Brian Dayball will. I
He's
think
doing
you'll.
great.
that's why
Yeah,
I
he
think you
switched up
need
Josh
AR because of that
Allen.
reason. You could be
Yeah, you
mobile.
need a weapon. You really just need a weapon. One weapon in the pass game. They don't have one.
They're the
They're bringing
receiving
back Odell,
class
man.
the receiving class isn't as good as it was last year, but they can probably get someone late in the round.
True.
I
Yeah.
think that's what they should go do.
Yeah. Very
Okay. So this is a big game. Not really anymore because we just learned Lamar is not going to play. So we have Ravens at Bengals. I mean, there's not really much. This is kind of like the Dolphins Bills game. There's not much. I mean,
Yeah.
the Ravens defense is kind of not that good to be able to keep up with the Bengals. And you got Lamar out. You have Joe Burrow just I'm sure gonna sling it to just Jamar Chase every fucking play, and Joe Mixon's just gonna be running up their A gap, just fucking
Right.
them up. So that's all I got. I mean, there's not much I can say. I don't think they're going to win with Tyler Huntley, and I don't think it's
No.
going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be over by halftime, just like the college championship game.
Have
So
they named Tyler Huntley the starter? I know they're kind of going back and forth with second
Oh
and
yeah,
third
because
string
Anthony
guys.
Brown or whatever.
well, if Huntley's not playing, then they definitely don't have a
All right.
chance.
I think this game is it's there. I will say there is a few games where the Bengals start slow almost, but this could be one of those games because it's a playoff game and Zach Taylor. I don't think he's that great of a coach, so I could see their team kind of starting a little slow. But I think in the end of that, I think the Bengals will definitely prevail. Probably double digits, calling double digits at least.
It'd be
The
shocking
spread's
if they
set
don't
at
win.
8.5.
All right, Bert,
So,
what do you got?
all right, obviously it's out there. Lamar's not playing, and I want to go ahead and start off with that little piece. I won't go into it too deep, but I am so glad Lamar is not playing. I'm unfortunate that it is hurt. It's a close stage 3 PCL tear. That is very unfortunate, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery. But if I was his teammate, I wouldn't ask him to come back in the game. I'd go say, go get that bag. They didn't take a chance on him in the offseason to pay him that guaranteed money. Didn't pay him what he thinks he's worth. They want to pay him all year. Now look at them. Without Lamar, they are 2-3. The offense has plummeted down. They're
Yeah.
not as explosive as they are or were. But I do have to say, I do think this game is going to be a lot closer. I think the Ravens cover the spread. I think the defense is going to be very, very important. We have Roquan Smith, we got Patrick Queen, both been tearing it up since
True.
that trade, and that's $100 million man right there that playing middle linebacker.
It's
He has
true.
completely changed the defense all
You're
over. They have
still
been
wrong.
playing different with a mean attitude. Then this is where I'm going to get you, Justin. This is where I'm going to get you. The right guard and the right tackle are out. That middle of the offense is going to be wide open. It's going to look like the Super Bowl all over again in week 1 in the wild card. I do think the Bengals are going to win because that cool Joe in the back, Joe Cool back there, the second best quarterback in the league. I really think he is that man. He's the real deal. I think he has too many weapons. I think one thing that they do need to focus on is getting that run game back into place. I mean, in the middle of the year, they had a two-headed monster with P. Ryan. We got Joe Mixon going out there. I think this is gonna have to be it's gonna be a tough game. I really think it's gonna be really close. More close than a lot of people expect, but they're just gonna have to, push that edge, use this game as a real test for the next week. Yeah, that's all I got for this.
I like your logic there. They have upgraded their defense. And John Harbaugh is a good coach.
They're gonna have to lean on the culture. Baltimore is gonna have to
I
lean
know.
on.
That's the only way they keep it close is if John Harbaugh can motivate his players. He's got to have motivation in their players because if not, the Bengals will just run away. It takes one deep ball to Jamar Chase and they're demoralized. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, Marlon Humphrey in their secondary. Their front seven I believe in, but their other four against the Bengals, I don't know.
There's not a lot of DBs that can cover those guys.
Yeah,
True.
you got a trio of receivers that are just itching for the ball. So
You got
you
a
got-
surgeon quarterback.
And if you got Jamar Chase covered, you got T Higgins on the other side, man. That's
you
just
could
hard to
try
cover.
locking up Jamar. I mean, you're just opening up Tyler Boyd and T Higgins from having a
Right.
big.
That's what I'm saying. Man.
All right, so we can start talking about the Bucks game now. So we have Cowboys at Bucks in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium, a night game on Monday night. How do you guys think that's going to go?
Justin, go first. I want to be
All
last
right.
on this topic.
All right. Listen up. You see this? See that? That's a Patriot symbol.
They can't see.
The
You
Patriots
can't really see it.
playing.
I don't have any Patriots shit up. Well, I will ride Tom Brady's dick to the day I die. So, for this game, Tom Brady's going to return to form here. And and he's going to, all right, I'm going to bring up a stat. Tom Brady's 7-0 against the Cowboys in his career. Dude. The Cowboys are his son. Jerry Jones is his grandson.
Sitting in his lap, kissing him.
He's Santa. And Jerry Jones is the little kid sitting in his lap. Tom Brady's going to come into this game, tell Dak Prescott that it's like stealing candy from a kid in a candy store. No, but seriously,
Kids from the candy store.
Yeah, that's where you get 'em.
I think this I think this game is gonna be close. I don't think it's gonna be a runaway from the Bucks, but I think the experience and skill of Tom Brady will overpower the Cowboys. I know they've had a pretty good season. But the Cowboys seem to have these games when it's like a big time thing. Like they just got destroyed by the Commanders. Like how are you getting destroyed by the Commanders? And I think the Bucks have a better defense than the Commanders. And I think they will expose their weaknesses in the fact that Zeke only had like 37 yards last week. Tony Pollard wasn't doing much either. Dak Prescott could not throw the ball. So I think the Bucks pull the upset off here. I know it's only a 2.5 point spread in the Cowboys' favorite, but I got Tom Brady all the way here.
I agree.
I agree.
What do you got, Bert? You
Hey,
got
he said he wanted to go last.
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted
Sorry.
to go
Okay.
last on this.
Okay. So I obviously have the Bucks, but not for personal reasons aside. I don't really think the Cowboys have a shot to win. When you talk about history, you talk about location. They've struggled at home against the Bucks at their house. So I really wouldn't expect a whole lot from the Cowboys. It wouldn't shock me if they won either. I don't think that they can't win,
Right.
but the team is really bad in the playoffs. They're really bad late in games. They just have terrible luck when it comes to refs. So like I said, I don't know. And when you take into account their division, I mean, you say the Eagles are better this year, but they play against shitty teams. The Bucks play against shitty teams too, but we play other good teams as measuring stick games. The Cowboys every year get a great record because they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL every year. They're always at the top as far as how easy it is. And Dak Prescott, if the Bucks want to win, this is what the Bucks got to do. If the Bucks want to win, they just have to stop the run game. If they can stop the run game, it's over because you're going to put the game into Dak's hands. And what does Dak do in late in games? He fumbles. He fumbles the bag. He literally chokes. He can't throw the ball. He dumps it to Dalton Schultz. CeeDee Lamb, has to go against a really good secondary. The Bucks have a really good secondary. Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, or is it Jamel?
Yep.
It's Jamel Dean. Yeah, Jamel Dean. I think I hope I didn't even check if Anthony Winfield is back. I hope he's back because he's been injured and throughout the season. Don't know if he's back, but if he's back, that's not looking good for him in that offense. So I think if you put the game away inside, the tackles, it's game over. You're going to force Dak and his offense to pass the ball. The Cowboys defense isn't even that good in general anyways. And I think if the Bucs can solidify a run game, it'll take the pressure off Tom Brady. He still has all his weapons. He still has Chris Godwin healthy. Mike Evans killed it the last week of the season. Well, the last week he played a full game. I think the actual last week he barely played or didn't really play. But the other week he had I think in fantasy he had 30, 40 points. So he's still there. The only thing he doesn't have is his tight end. He just needs his tight ends to get healthy, and hopefully they'll get Ryan Jensen back at some point during the playoffs. He's supposed to be coming back. Oh, he is back, but he's supposed to be getting healthy to come back at some week during the playoffs if they do. So this will be a great game for us. If they win, we'll feel as a fan base, we'll feel better. I mean, as a fan base for the Cowboys, I feel more upset because how they performed against the Redskins the last week. That was terrible. The Redskins were trying to lose. They were trying to lose that game, and the Cowboys literally could not do anything. They were running the ball. They got the ball on the 50-yard line, the Redskins, and ran the ball all 3 plays, didn't get any yards. The Cowboys get the ball, don't do anything. The Redskins get the ball in great field position again. They run the ball 3 times in a row. They were trying to throw that game, and they're only up a touchdown. Cowboys couldn't do anything. So if I was a fan, I'd be really disappointed going in because I'm like, shit, if we can't even perform against the Redskins, and I know the Bucs are shaky, but you play against Tom Brady. You can't just count that shit out. Like, oh, he hasn't had a great season. All right, well, what if very likely he'll light your ass up. Playoffs is when he elevates. So, Bert, you can jump into whatever you want to, but I really think the Cowboys have a shot just based off history, based off team and stuff like that. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I wouldn't be surprised. They have the potential, but they always choke. So I'm betting on the choke.
Can the Cowboys handle the Tommy magic right there? Can the Cowboys hang on to it? I very much think so. One thing you guys both said is that you guys have no expectations for the Cowboys. You won't be surprised if they won, but you're really kind of more so guaranteeing an L. And that's where I think the Cowboys have the edge. Cowboys are favored at -3.5. They're also they're not playing very well. So that means there's not a lot of pressure on them. And I think that's where they're going to play really well at. Jerry Jones earlier this week says that Mike is not going to get fired, win or loss this game. So there's going to be, less pressure on Mike. You got Dan Quinn. He's trying to get a head coaching job somewhere in the league. I think he's going to try to really show out. One thing with the Cowboys defense, I heard this earlier this week from Sean Payton, that they're not as fast on grass. They're a turf defense. They fly a little bit faster on defense. But one thing about Tampa is they're very one-dimensional. Tom Brady's going to throw as old as he is. 45, he'll probably have 45 attempts throwing the ball.
Probably more.
They could not get the run game going the whole year. I mean, no surprise, they couldn't get it done last year either. I just really think the Cowboys are going to come through. They had a pretty embarrassing game last week. Dak in particular had a very embarrassing game last week, but he is a B+ quarterback to a B quarterback. He's a very solid guy, and he's a little out of character right now, especially this year. That might be because he's forcing a little bit too much. He's working on chemistry. You have to think, before Amari Cooper, he wasn't very good. With Amari Cooper, very efficient. And now this is the first year he's trying to get CD that #1 reps. He's trying to get Tony Pollard the ball, Zeke the ball, really trying to find that groove. And that's why I think Cowboys are going to have the edge in this game. I think they just came off an embarrassing loss. They're going to be a little bit more on edge. There's not a lot of pressure on them, and they're just going to fly around. I don't know. I mean, they beat the Eagles, what was it, Christmas Eve? And that was a pretty good game right there. Kept it close. Defense came through. Dak looked really good. Tony Pollard looked explosive. If they can play like they did then, there's no no chance in my mind that the Buccaneers are going to come and win this game.
I think you brought up a really good point. Is that the Bucks have not run the ball well at all. I think they averaged 3.7 yards per carry this year as a team. And when you're running the ball that inefficiently, it's hard to keep drives alive. And with the Cowboys, one thing they do excel in is their run defense. They're fast, like you're saying, um, and they're able to shut down the run. So if they can find a way to get Tom Brady pressured and uncomfortable, that's how they're going to win. And if they can do that, I don't know how close the game will be if they pressure Tom Brady all game. So
Early in the season, I did think the Bucks were going to make it to the Super Bowl as my like way early prediction. But how the year went, how the offensive line's going. Brady has been playing really well. He's not throwing like he's 45 years old. He is being very efficient. I'm excited to see him play for Vegas next year. I just really think that Mike Evans, look, they have one game against the Panthers where the Panthers don't even have a starting DB in the role, and Mike Evans goes for a few touchdowns. I don't think that's the same thing as Trayvon Diggs. It's not going to be the same as Hooker in the back playing safety or KZ playing safety. I think Cowboys have a little bit more dudes than the Panthers do. And I just think I don't know if they get it done. I think it's an old roster.
mhm.
I,
I don't
I,
know.
agree.
I don't
Todd
really
Bowles.
think I love Mike Evans, but I don't I agree with your idea of on paper they have a good secondary, but Trayvon Diggs is probably the laughing stock of corners as far as being a good corner. And I say that because he is attacked more offensively because of his weaknesses. Um, that's why you see more interceptions. That's why you see more whatever. Because if I'm Tom Brady and I'm seeing a guy that can't guard Mike Evans, I'm going to
Is
target him.
Tristan Wirfs in? He's still injured, right?
No, he's playing.
He's playing.
Yeah.
All right. I think
Uh,
he's
I
gonna
thought he
have a
was out
big
for this.
big plate to carry against Micah Parsons.
I think so too. I think in order for us to win, we need definitely our game depends on stopping the run and our offensive line. That's what the two key elements that the Bucks need. If they can give Tom Brady time to make a decision, you're doing harm because if you're giving Tom Brady time, there's an issue. If you can stop the run, you're creating a one-dimensional Cowboys offense in an area where they don't strive. They have two top running backs in the NFL, two of the top. So if you can take them out of the game, you're limiting it to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott chokes. I've witnessed many games this year where there has been a wide open receiver running back, doesn't matter who it is, standing in the end zone. And this dude won't even doesn't even read the defense. He doesn't even read the defense. I think he just gets told where to throw. He just looks at the hot route, and if it's not open, throws it somewhere else. I know the specific game it was against I want to say the Giants, or maybe it was against that Eagles team. It probably was the Eagles team. It was around Christmas time. Pollard's ran a flat route across the field in the red zone. Didn't even look his direction. Nobody. He sent him in motion. Didn't even look his direction. Dude was standing there waving his hands in the air, and he just throws, I think, a back shoulder fucking route in the corner of the end zone, and it went nowhere. Then they had to kick a field goal. So stuff like that is going to really matter when they play the Bucks, because if you're going to be playing like that, I don't really think you're going to be winning against Tom Brady. You're going to have to be perfect, and Dak Prescott is far from perfect. He's below Kirk Cousins he's below Derek Carr in my opinion. He has really fallen in talent. So, and I'm not just saying that because they're playing them. I genuinely don't like the Cowboys, and I genuinely don't think Dak Prescott is even in the same boat as I don't even think I think he's barely at a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. Just purely based off of what I've seen this year. He's not in anymore.
There's a lot of up and downs. I mean, he came off a few injuries. I that's understandable. I think he's a little bit better. He's definitely in that B range, kind of around that Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr. He's gonna be the main thing for the Cowboys. So they want to win. It's gonna have to be on Dak's shoulders, and he's gonna have to
Definitely.
pull through.
Definitely, that it's going to be all Dak, and like I think he has the most pressure because if you watch Sports and you watch ESPN, they're all talking about how trash this dude is, right? They just hound him, and when you're going and you're a quarterback and you hear that, and now you're in the playoffs, even though your head coach's job might not be in jeopardy, your running back Zeke might not be in jeopardy, everybody else's job is safe, but you're not. You're not safe. You've been every year. We keep saying it's your year. Every year it's your guys' year, and you can't do it.
The Cowboys. That's what we have
Yeah,
to.
so-
So Mike McCarthy is going to have to make a decision. Am I going to pay? Can you pay this guy who can't even perform after week 18? Or am I going to try to find a different route? Maybe go scoop up Derek Carr. Maybe go find somebody else who's actually going to bring up this team and change the momentum, because Dax just seems like he's coasting. He's not really going anything more. I don't even remember a game where I'm like, holy crap, Dax like playing like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Joe Burrow out there. Just doesn't happen.
He's not that guy. He isn't that guy.
But his fan base, and people who think that they're gonna win, that's their idea. He's still that guy. He's not that guy.
He's
He's
not
never
that guy
been
now.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
Insert
definitely,
that meme. He's definitely not that guy, and that's gonna matter. You're gonna have to be that guy Saturday or Monday. Sorry, you're gonna have to be that guy. It's the whole country's watching.
Yep.
You got one game that day. Everybody's gonna be watching Tom. It could be Tom Brady's last game. You're gonna have the most views that week. So here we go. Here we go. Got Monday. I'm ready. Let's go, Bucks. We're gonna win this shit. We're gonna move on. I don't know if we're gonna win the second round. Depends on who the fuck we play, but all right, so we're done there with the games. We got our things down. Now we're going to jump into a little trivia game. Now, Bert doesn't know how this goes. Basically, it's called Guess the Player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start naming facts about this person. I'm not going to I don't really give away position off rip unless it starts getting to like who. But I'll talk about like college, what teams they played for, height, weight. I sometimes might say offense or defense. I'll tell you like some stats that won't give it away too easy. And your job is to guess. The first person to get it gets the point. And there's 5. We'll do 5 rounds. So with that said, we're going to start with round 1. You can jump in at any time. It's not individual. So the first player we got is a 6 foot, 211 pound player drafted by Atlanta, Bert's favorite team. You should know this.
Come on.
Michael Vick.
No, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, I believe in 2016. Yes, 2016. In the what round?
Gage.
First round, 17th overall in 2016. By the Falcons.
Desmond Trufant.
No, he currently plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Russell Gage? Is that what you said?
Nope. First round. Russell Gage definitely wasn't first round. 2016. He's had 1 Pro Bowl, I'm assuming, when he was with the Falcons. He kind of plays.
Keanu Neal.
Keanu Neal.
Oh,
correct.
dang.
I didn't even say the college. Just said Florida.
Yeah, you did.
I forgot the college, but Florida. So that's
That
one.
would help. Thank you.
All right. Here, next one. We have a 6'1", 210-pound player from Indiana, drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the 3rd round.
Telvin Coleman.
Telvin Coleman. That is correct. So 1-1.
You're gonna give him the college and his favorite team, man.
I gave you both of you guys. All right, here we go. We have a 6'4", 272-pound player out of what college? East Mississippi. He went to East Mississippi, transferred to Kentucky, drafted in the 4th round by the Baltimore Ravens in 2015.
Matthew Judon?
No, he currently plays. He was drafted by Baltimore, currently plays for Minnesota, and has also played for the Packers.
Zadarius Smith.
Zadarius Smith. That is correct. 2-1. You finally got some competition. But Chase, he kind of just draws a blank. This one, I was surprised. I was surprised on this guy being drafted this early. 6'4", 218-pound player drafted out of Clemson in the first round.
Higgins.
No, first round, 7th overall in 2017.
Isaiah Simmons.
No, he's only played for one team his whole career.
Clemson.
7th
overall.
I'll say in the AFC. That's all I'm giving you.
Wait.
Mike
Clemson.
Williams.
Mike Williams.
Yeah.
7th overall. That was shocking when I saw this. I'm like, what?
Hey, didn't know that?
Yeah.
No, man, I forgot. I forgot, man.
I think Isaiah Simmons went. I think he went 5th. He went pretty early. That's why I thought it was him. They're
So-
about the same size. I think Mike might be a little taller.
Yeah, he is a little tall.
So
Simmons
last
is like
one,
6'2".
last one. This doesn't do any good. Bert's already got the win here,
Yep.
but let's see if he can close it within one. So we got a 6 foot player, 208 pounds, drafted out of Washington, drafted by the Los Angeles Rams in the second round in 2019.
Oh
He,
shit.
he also is a
Washington,
Super
6
Bowl
foot.
champion.
Oh,
6
thank you. I
foot.
didn't know that. If you played for
Um,
the Rams. Washington.
You said 208 pounds.
208
Washington
pounds.
DB, is it? It's not.
Um,
Epps. I know who it is. I know exactly who it is. I can't think of
No,
his name.
you don't.
He's 24, I think, number 24. Does it show that? No.
He's
Oh wait, it's Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp.
Taylor-
Ah, that's
Yes.
Taylor Rapp. Taylor
I was-
Rapp. So that was good. That was good. That was a very close matchup there. So
See, I thought it was the guy that I think he plays for Buffalo or a different team, but kind of same kind of player. Yeah, dang. That was kind of fun.
yeah, so that's that round. It was 5 rounds. Bert, you
Yes.
got the win on that one.
Good win, Bert.
Uh, so our next topic we're talking about is which quarterback would you guys rather have? If you had the 101, you really needed a quarterback, one guy you could bring in that would change the whole team. Between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, who do you got? Bert, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think I'm gonna throw you guys by surprise here. I am a big Buckeyes fan, but I'm gonna go with Bryce Young. That guy is
Wow.
talented. Yes, I think everyone is concerned about his frame. I mean, if I'm picking number one overall, I obviously don't have a good team, and the team's in the top 5. I think that's where he'll go. I don't think he's gonna go in a good situation, which could harm him. But I was watching a game earlier this year, and I just I mean, after his Heisman season, you kind of figured, okay, this guy is the truth. But he's definitely a big team player. I think it was against Tennessee. I mean, the team is down. It's a tough game. It's a road game, I believe. And he's on the sideline. I mean, they cut the screen to him and he is getting his guys together. I mean, he can be, I mean, you got, Kyler Murray playing video games, sitting on the sideline, sitting on the bench. He's not a good teammate. He's not someone that you want to have. I mean, he's talented, has everything. But I think Bryce Young, a huge trait that you want to have is a leader,
Right.
a CEO. He's going to be the face of your company. And not just for 1 year, 2 years. He's looking to be the face for the next 5 years at the least. And that's if you don't mess it up. I'm taking Bryce Young. He's fair. He's really accurate. When they compare you to a basketball player and you're playing football, that's a different kind of league. He plays just like Steph Curry. He gets all the guys involved. Doesn't look 5'11", 6 foot. Unfortunately, I do think he's going to come in 5'11" and not run a good 40. So hopefully he doesn't run a 40 in the combine.
Yeah, I think it would
but
help him if he doesn't.
He's
run
a lot
forward.
quicker than he looks. Super accurate. And I think he was the number 1 player in high school. He is a baller out of California, and definitely controls the RPO game. But that's all I got. I'm taking that guy.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what we got.
I'm on your side, Bert. Here, I think Bryce Young is. CJ Stroud had a better season this year, in the fact of stats and everything, numbers and stuff like that. But what CJ Stroud doesn't have is like the intangibles that you're talking about, like your leadership, your natural ability, like charismatic quarterback, someone that your teammates around you are going to trust and look up to. I think CJ Stroud's a little bit immature in that aspect. I honestly, I think their arm talent wise, I think they're very similar.
Yeah.
But I mean, who would you rather have? Like you're saying, you got compared to Steph Curry, where I see CJ Stroud, someone like Damian Lillard, right? He's just like great player, can do anything that
I don't
Steph
even think
probably
he's in
can.
that echelon, man. I don't think. I think you have to compare him to a normal quarterback. I don't know.
Think so? Hey,
Well,
but
it's tough to
quarterbacks are the hardest thing to scout,
especially from Ohio State. I think Ohio State comes.
Yes.
They they're not known for quarterbacks. They like Justin Fields, right?
And he hasn't even shown he's a great quarterback.
No,
He just-
no.
Don't
Justin,
even get me started on this. I'm a very big Justin Fields guy.
no, I understand. Justin Fields, I'm saying when he came in,
here.
they have the same, I think, problems that when you're a scout and you're watching them, they had the same issues. And their issues are when he snaps the ball, he's a one read, maybe two read guy. He's not looking down. He's not going 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going, all right, this is the guy. If he's not open, if the other receiver is in my line of sight because I'm looking at this guy, I'll throw it. But if I'm throwing to say it's trips right and the receiver that I want to throw to is to the left, he is so focused on that guy. And if he doesn't go left with it, he's running out of the pocket, not looking downfield and getting chased down, sacked, throwing the ball away, inaccurate. He has a great accuracy in the pocket. He can throw the ball accurately really well. But his problem is, I think when he starts getting chased down, and Bryce Young excels at this. When he's getting chased, he's looking down the field. He's juking. He's trying to find the gaps in the defense, and he's still slinging it down the field. Accurate. I mean, not 100% accurate, but it's at least he's trying down the field. Whereas I feel like when I watched film on CJ Stroud, it was he would snap the ball. First and second read weren't there. The play's over. If it's not there, and most of the times it was there, but when you're scouting, you're like, okay, what am I going to do when my what's the quarterback going to do whenever our number one guy is locked up? And
all you have to do is look at who CJ Stroud's throwing the ball to. I mean, damn.
I mean, yeah, look at the two guys this year, and I think it was a sophomore year or redshirt freshman year. I mean, both of those guys are the number one receivers in their respective teams.
Yeah.
Both went over 1,000 yards, and then you look at this year, Marvin Harris Jr., the best receiver in the nation. Then you got Njigbu, and then you got Fleming. He's not a bad number
No.
3. Ohio State is loaded with always a great run game.
Yep.
I do think the championship game, or it was like a championship game, but the playoff game, I think Stroud, he showed a lot of things. I mean, both of these quarterbacks are really talented and very athletic, but they don't use their athleticism to move out of the pocket, like to run out, kind of use their legs as a weapon. They use their legs to kind of make gaps, like you said, Kobe, kind of find a guy on the run. And I think
play.
Exactly. And I think Stroud definitely moved up to the second best quarterback in this class after that Georgia game.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Carter is a dog, and he made him look silly. He put him on skates a few times, and he definitely he impressed a lot of people. Definitely shocked me. I think Stroud is a really good quarterback. I just think there's a lot more growth to go. And let's get to Justin Fields just for a mini second here. If the Bears would let that man throw the ball, he would be electric. I'm telling you.
I know.
Poor franchise. They are a horrible franchise.
I agree.
He does have
get out of there. And the fact that they're talking about trading him, please do put him on a real team with a real offensive coordinator, and let that man throw the ball, because he did not have a problem with arm strength, accuracy at Ohio State, at Georgia, or in high school. Justin Fields is that dude.
Justin Fields, his problem is I believe he's good. I don't think he is going to, if he gets traded, it's not a bad thing. I think it'll help him out. I think the problem with him and Stroud, the thing that they had in common going into the draft was this is the reading. They can't read as much as like Bryce Young can. Like Bryce Young is very good at, because he did also, this was a good season for Bryce Young, mainly because we got to see what
he had no weapons.
Yeah, he had no weapons. So we got to see what he's going to be like in the NFL in real life when you don't. Okay, so the team that's projected to get him, I think, is the Texans, right? Who are you going to have? Brandon Cooks doesn't even want to play for you. You have John Michie has leukemia. Who are you going to throw to is the question. And who's going to want to go there? So this was a good test to see, can he still uplift his team? Can he still be a leader even when they're not doing well? And he did. So I think him being the 1-on-1 kind of makes sense. But I'm not saying CJ Stroud can't. The one thing that CJ Stroud needs is he needs to just sit somewhere and learn and develop those being able to read. Don't go to Kyler Murray for help. Go find somebody to teach you how to read a defense and progress through your progressions and be able.
I think the Colts is a good landing spot for any of those.
Yes,
guys. Matt Ryan's still on contract. I mean, they get good playing time. They got a weapon out there. They got 2 weapons. Alec Pierce has become someone. They got a young team, good offensive line, a run game, and then they'll have a veteran quarterback at backup. Whoever goes there, that's going to be a.
And you have a run game that can really help you. You have Jonathan Taylor.
Coach. They just need one.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not against CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be gone very early, just like Bryce Young. But if I had to pick one, like we all said, it's got to be Bryce Young. Just what we've seen, what he's been able to go through. And history tells us that if you're coming from Alabama, you're probably pretty fucking good. So Other than that, I think we're done. I think we
Yeah,
got all
there
our,
wasn't a lot of arguing besides the two teams here.
yeah, and I think our first ever podcast with Bert went very well. So
Yes, it did. That it did.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the playoffs. Today's Friday, so tomorrow we have games going on. I'm excited for my Bucks, and if we don't do a podcast tomorrow, it's probably because we lost the Cowboys. I'm just kidding. But anyways, I think that's everything. Unless you guys have a last second thing you want to add.
Oh man,
no.
I'm
Okay.
set.
All right. Well, that concludes episode 34. It's been great. I appreciate you guys listening. Talk to you guys
Go
later.
Cowboys.
Peace.
Woo!